Today's video is going to be kind of different in a sense. Instead of you seeing a bunch of gameplay, we're not going to be talking about a game. Instead, we're going to be talking about a TV show or an anime, so to speak. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This guy right here is not a weeb. I actually don't listen to a lot of anime or watch a lot of anime. I don't know why I said listen, but I don't watch a lot of anime. It is something that, frankly, I am just not that much of a fan of. Not because I hate anime and I hate Japanese people. I don't hate either. I like anime. It's a very cool thing to look at. I don't like hentai though. That's really fucking weird. But there's something about watching anime that on a personal level, it's just like, not really my thing a lot of the time. I do watch anime, but I don't watch a lot of anime. And so I have to talk about a certain anime that I've watched that would make me, so to speak, a complete fool to watch. Now, many of you probably know I'm a Persona fan. I've been a Persona fan since I was a little kid. My brother introduced it to me when I was a kid, and it has been my holy grail ever since then. I've also been traumatized by the Persona franchise. For the life of me, I am scared shitless of Tartarus, and for the life of me, I am scared of the Midnight Channel theme song. In fact, I don't go to sleep past 12 a.m. because I feel like the Midnight Channel is going to come on, and if that happens, I don't want to fucking be around for that shit to happen. Jokes aside, though, I am actually traumatized severely. Anyway, with all that in mind, it is time I want to talk about an anime that a lot of people may or may not know about, and that anime is called Persona 4 The Animation. Now, obviously, we all know that that's based off of the game Persona 4, but, fun fact, did you know that Persona 4 actually had a re-release, which you probably did? It was called Persona 4 Golden, and that, fun fact, got its own anime, the Persona 4 Golden animation. So something different is going to happen here. I'm not going to make a long video talking about the Persona 4 animation because I want to save that for a video for another day where I get to compare both the Golden animation and the regular animation and see which one is better. And unfortunately, I have not been able to watch the Golden animation in recent days, so I cannot make that video. However, I can talk about Persona 4 The Animation, which we are going to do for a little bit today in order to enlighten some of you as to what you might be missing. So a little bit of background context as to what we're talking about here. Persona 4 The Animation was first released in 2011. Now, Persona 4 was released in 2008, I believe. So that's, if only my math could do me service here. 3 years after Persona 4 was released, the animation happened, which meant that in essence, when Persona 4 Golden came out 1 year later, I'm assuming the Golden animation came out at like 2013, 2014. I don't think it would have come out in 2015, but whatever. For those that don't know the story, you are basically the protagonist, essentially, of the story is this kid who moves into this place called Inaba. And Inaba, or Inaba, frankly, I have no fucking clue. This place, we're gonna call it Inaba, is essentially a weird fucking foggy shit. Like, that's just all I can really say of it. Fog appears, people die. Essentially, that's the story. And there's a whole murder case going on because of it. And you, that's right, you, that's his actual name. You is the main protagonist's name. I know, real fucking creative. You and his friends have to solve this murder case because for some reason the police department can't figure it out. But there's a reason behind why they can't figure it out, and that reason is that there's a TV realm. Because why the fuck not? The TV realm essentially is the metaverse, or the place in which you can summon your persona, an ability to which you can summon this weird mystical creature that can beat the shit out of things. Fucking great. Awesome. But I have to give my first critique right here because, and this happens really with all of the Persona animes, the combat just isn't that great in the animation. Like, if you're a My Hero Academia fan or you're a Dragon Ball Z fan and you're like, I'm looking for some fucking action, you're not going to get that with this anime. There's like 50% of the time it's talking and communicating. Like 20% of the time it's doing other shit, and then the rest is based off of fighting. You really don't fight all that often. The only time that fighting gets really good in the Persona 4 animation, at least, is the boss battles. The boss battles are, in my personal point of view, the best part of the anime fight-wise. They are hysterically funny for the most part, and except for the first one, the Yukiko boss battle is definitely a lot more serious. But like once you get to kanjis, that shit is hilarious. Then there's the going through the castles or the dungeons. I call them castles. I know people are supposed to call them dungeons, and apparently with Persona 5 Strikers, they're fucking called jails now. I don't know, and frankly, neither do you. After fighting your way through a ton of different dungeons, saving people who at this point should be dead because the murderer, quote-unquote, is throwing them in there in the TV realm, you end up finding that one of the people that's involved in it, or was, it's hard to explain, is this kid named Mitsuo, or Mitsubo, I think it's Mitsuo. We're just gonna call him M for short. Call him fucking Mike. Mike, that's your new name, Mitsuo. Or Mitsubo, whatever the fuck it is, Mitsubishi, or Mitsubishi, I don't know. He's what they eventually would call the copycat killer because he kills Maruka, or King Maruka, who's this teacher. He's really not that big a deal, but he doesn't cause the other murders that have been going on or the other kidnappings that have been going on. So, by all accounts, he's not important. Without spoiling the rest of the story, you catch the killer. I mean, it's a Persona anime. What did you expect was gonna happen? You think the heroes were gonna fail? Pfft. As if that was ever gonna happen. So, with most of the story out of the way, what exactly is this, what's good about this anime? What's bad about it? Should you watch it? The obvious answer is yes, you should. I'm saying it as a biased source, obviously, so I'll defend my point. First, I'll start off with the cons, and realistically, there aren't a lot of cons. The only major one I have is that in the halfway point of the show, you go up against the copycat killer's shadow boss. And that's a really important boss battle because it marks the halfway point of the entire game and the show, which is weird, but whatever. And they fuck up the whole boss battle by having this really weird, setup where the boss, which is a baby, I'm not fucking kidding, it's a baby, it's an actual baby. The boss puts you in this alternate reality, and I mean, shit, I have no idea, honestly. It is so weird to explain, and essentially, for those who did watch the anime, they did in that boss battle what they did in Izanami's boss battle at the end of the show, except the second time they did it, they mastered it perfectly, and they did a great job showing the transition. Here, it was just what the fuck? Just what the fuck? Why in the world am I seeing this? The only other issue I have that's a lot smaller and is not really going to change realistically is that there's not enough episodes. This happens with all of the Persona animes where because it's restricted to one season, there's not a lot of information put into it. So by episode 15 of Persona 4's anime, you already have the whole team. And it's but there should be more connectivity there. And I feel as someone who doesn't watch anime for the action a lot of the time, with the exception of very few animations, frankly, it's weird almost because you don't feel connected, not personally, but you don't see the relativity of the team unless you've played the game. And I think that's what's so important to understand when watching this anime if you've never played the game, and it's why I would always recommend, both for the Persona 3 movie, the Persona 4 anime, the Persona Golden anime, the Persona 5 anime, and the subsequent Persona 5 Royal anime, I highly recommend playing the games first, or at least watching a walkthrough on YouTube, because if you don't do that, the shows are going to be tone deaf almost. What you're going to see in the show is going to be minuscule to what you could have possibly seen in the game. And I think that's a really big downer, and I think that really is because it's all restricted to one season and not 2 or 3 or 4. And I get why that's the case, because you can't fit a whole Persona game into 2 seasons. It's just not there's not enough stuff to put into season 2 at that point. But figure it out is really all I can say. With that in mind, though, there are a lot of good things about this anime too. For one, Chie's voice acting is top notch. That's the only thing realistically that I cared about. But there are a lot of good things about this anime. The second part being Izanami's boss battle, the final boss battle. The way they portray it in this anime is perfect. It's beautifully done. There's so much that I love about that. And I have to be honest, my favorite part about it is when the main protagonist, Yu, has a shadow in the TV realm, which is like you're sitting there, you're like, what the fuck? Like, that's just absolutely crazy. You've never seen the main protagonist have a boss, have a shadow, you know. In Persona 3, this motherfucker just shot himself. In Persona 5, you know, there was no conquering of rebellious intent. It was just like, hey, Ryuji's getting fucked up in the corner. I really should do something here. And that's kind of it. And in 4, you know, in the game, you never experience a shadow of your own self. And I think that that's a big thing to understand, because while I get the focal point of having the shadow for the main character, and it's a great idea, I also kind of went with the theory that in essence the main character and the main villain are the exact same people. They're two different people, obviously, physically, but in the realm of which personality only lives, you can pretty much easily tell that the main villain and the main protagonist have the same fucking qualities. It's the reason why they have the same personas. And by main villain, I don't mean the god, I mean the main killer, which, again, watching the anime, it would make it a lot easier. But realistically speaking, Adachi and the main character are two of the same people. They're both spokes on the wheel. And so it would make a lot of sense that Adachi and the main protagonist kind of be the yin and yang, the true self and the shadow form of one another. But hey, you know, just throw that out the window, give him a shadow. And don't get me wrong, him having a shadow was fucking dope, and I thought that that was the best part of the scene, and probably the best part of the episode, and probably the best part of the show, because, you know, you come to the realization that, yeah, he didn't have a shadow, but he developed one as time went on, and that was the whole point behind having that shadow, which is a great idea. So yeah, I don't have that much of an issue with it. Another good thing about this show is that it's really fucking funny. There are some scenes that are actually fucking hilarious, and I mean by some, I mean a lot. The whole show doesn't take itself as seriously, and I guess that is kind of a negative in a sense, because I mean we're talking about teenagers solving a murder case, so you'd be surprised to hear that, oh well, fuck it, let's just host a concert or something. Like, no, that's not at all what you're supposed to be doing. People are dead, but whatever. I mean, it's not a big deal. But it being comically, pleasing is probably its greatest asset. You're not going to get bored watching this show. Unless you are one of those weird fucking anime people who just, like, only watch anime for the sake of action. Like, they only watch fight scenes. They just skip through the rest of the episode. Once they see, like, they'll watch Power Rangers, but they'll skip to the very end of the episode and only watch the fight scene. Like, there's a whole fucking build-up. I think that if you're not one of those people and you're willing to watch the whole episode, you won't be bored. There will be funny moments, there will be action moments. I think that you'll be satisfied as a regular anime watcher. If you're a hardcore anime watcher who only watches fights, you're not gonna like this show. But that's just how the cookie crumbles, I guess. Another good thing I can think about with this anime is that it really has one of those kind of weird morals to it. Every Persona game has this, and while I personally like it, a lot of people don't like it, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to like it, but I do feel like the moral here is that friends conquer everything, and that's a really shitty moral. But the way they explain it is really fucking cool. I mean, seriously, like, you're talking about some shit where it's like, you're getting mystical creature powers to beat the shit out of fucking weird black blobs. Like, holy shit. That's a great way to send off a message of friends matter. I mean, seriously, that's a really fucking good message. But at the same time, I also feel like this show realistically puts you through a loophole of shit that you may or may not understand. And that's why I feel like sometimes the regular anime watcher probably wouldn't want to watch this, because it's dependent kind of on the feeling of learning. Not like actual educational learning, but like realizing certain morals and shit. And that's boring. I mean, honestly, that's fucking boring. Even I can say that. But I don't know, the way the show does it, it just makes it interesting to watch, I guess. So it's not that big of a deal whether you don't like it or do like it, but giving it a try is really fun. And I think that once you get past the first episode, you're probably going to be like, okay, I'm okay with this. Because the first episode can be a little boring at first, but then you get to like the next ones and it's like, oh shit, this is fucking funny, or this is great, or this is cool, or this is nice, I'll keep watching, whatever. That's usually what the anime will give you. So generally speaking, I would say, you know, if you are on the edge or you're bored and you want to watch something new, then by all accounts, watch the Persona 4 anime. I mean, it's not a bad anime. It's only one season, so you're not binge watching like 3-4 days over. You can literally watch the whole season in one take. It's not like with 5 where there's like 26 episodes and then there's 2 specials that you probably aren't going to be able to watch in one whole day unless you're a weirdo. But, you know, I mean, I know this is like one of those weird videos where it's like, oh, he's really kind of being shitty, but no, it's not really that I'm being shitty. It's just that, you know, it's hard to explain it because I really don't have much of a comparison to put it against. And when I watch the Persona 4 Golden animation, I'll be able to make a better, you know, assertion. But until then, I'm just kind of giving my own thoughts. So should you watch it? Yes, you should. It's a great anime, and if you are into action but you're like not one of those weirdos who just likes action and nothing else, then excuse me, by all accounts, it'll be a great anime. And as for the romancing, I mean, don't worry about it. You could probably skip that if you wanted. But there isn't a lot of romance. In fact, I don't think there's really any romancing at all. There's just like Rise, who's, you know, clingy. But whatever. Again, not a big deal. So yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to day 8. Yes, day 8. Day 8 of Christmas. Our Christmas special is going to continue. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. If you liked it, go ahead and leave a like or dislike, comment your favorite part of the video or least favorite part of the video, and subscribe. Also, make sure you click the bell to get notified on my other Christmas videos. And of course, if you missed any of those Christmas videos, link in the description below. And as always, guys, I will catch you all in the next video. Bye-bye.